This is my V666 Quadcopter, just arrived in the mail, so I'm going to open it and see if everything's okay. Okay, there it is. Hope you can see that there. I'll open up the box and see if everything's okay. Nothing else in the box. Everything looks okay in there. Turn it around. Just make sure you can see that all. Around again. Okay. Well. Okay. And broken. Aside for a minute. The FPV monitor. Everything's okay there. transmitter. Looks okay there. Battery. They sent me the wrong plug pack. They sent me the European one, American one, instead of the Australian one. So now I have to change that for an Australian plug pack. Otherwise I've got to buy an adapter, and I don't want to do that. So unless it's packed in here somewhere else. The charger, the rest of it. Spare parts, propellers, transmitter, receiver, aerial, USB. That's about it. So we'll have to charge the batteries up and give it a try. And then we've got to run the motors in, change the bearings to ball bearings, and hopefully everything's okay. But I can't charge it until I get the right plug pack. That's the charger they sent me. This is Australia, so it takes a different pin configuration obviously. So as I said, can't do any charging until I do something about this, and I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to go paying for an adapter. So they'll have to send me the Australian plug pack if they've got them over there. Well, it looks okay, can't see any problem with that. Quadcopter itself looks okay. Nothing's broken there. With the camera, everything seems alright there. So, there you go. Cheers. Welcome back. I've just got my transmitter here ready to do the SMA modification, and I've just got two SMA connectors blue tacked just to the circuit board, just to show you the two different types you can use. And these have got the coax already on them, which makes them a little bit easier to solder to the circuit board. And you'll see I've still got the old antenna in place. I haven't taken it off yet. The two SMA there's several different types of SMA connectors, and some of them are called RP SMA, and the RP stands for reverse polarity. But just for the exercise, as far as fitting them to these transmitters, there's really only two options you've got, and that's the SMA a female, and as you can see from the picture there, the one on the right has got a pin in the center and the one on the left does not. So the one on the right with the pin is one that's called the RP SMA. The one on the left is just called an SMA, and as I said, they're both female. What I'm going to do probably is I'll just come back a bit with the zoom. I've got the old antenna. I've just got it slid up a screwdriver up the centre just to show you the way it came off. The aerial comes off this section here, and that normally goes up there, so I've cut that antenna off there, so I'll just take that off, and now I'm left with these three pieces. Now this piece here was actually about that long, because you've got to get the SMA connector up through it and have enough of the connector sticking out so you can connect the aerial. I've had to cut it down to that thickness. If you can see that, I'll just slide it back there, and that's how thick it is. You can still see it's got a slight ridge there which fits into this piece here, and this piece here actually is not glued anywhere to here. It's just a press fit. So when I was taking it off, I just levered this off, and of course the old area was still stuck on here, so as I said before, I just cut that off. So that's the way I'm probably going to do it, and put the SMA connector up through there and have it sticking out the top. And what I'll do is probably put some super glue around here to hold this piece in place, and then I'll super glue this piece around here inside here. And the aerial that I'll use, which has just arrived in the mail, is this one here, and it's the 2.4 gig aerial, and it's I think it's 2.5 dB gain, and as you can see, it's got the pin in the center, so I will have to use the SMA connector which is on the left there, because that does not have a pin. Now you can use this one on the right here which has the pin, but you just got to make sure that when you buy the antenna, you have to buy one without the pin so it can screw on. Otherwise you'll be trying to screw one pin inside the connector, the SMA, which has already got a pin. So I hope that's clear enough for you. And you can probably see there too that the coax comes in two different thicknesses. I just can't remember what the RG equivalent number is, but this one is a fairly thin one, and this one here is reasonably thicker. So I haven't really decided. Well, I'm actually waiting on one of these connectors to come from Banggood, which is exactly the same, except it's got the thinner coax like this one here, because if I use this one with a thin coax, that's the RP SMA, and it's got the pin, so obviously I want to use one without the pin, so I'm just waiting for that to arrive. So I'll just sort of explain a bit about the SMA connectors for you. The other option I've got is if you get a piece of plastic, and this bit of plastic was 30mm outside diameter, and it's about 1.5 mm thick. That's around the edges, that is, but the actual thickness of this one here, if you can see that, is about 1.5 mm here. So I could fit this into the slot, if I can just show you somehow there. Fit that into the slot there, and the SMA connector will go up through the center, and that'll just sit in there, and of course the other half will hold it in place as well. So I haven't really decided which way I'm going to go yet, but that's the way I'm going to do my transmitter. Hi, I'm back again. Just thought I'd show you a bit of a little problem I had when I opened up the back of the monitor. This shield here was floating around inside because I shook it and I could hear a rattle in there. So I pulled the cover off, and as you can see, I've put the shield back in place, and I've just run some hot glue on the bottom section there, and also some hot glue on the top section there just to hold it in place. So if you lift it up and it's got a rattle in it, that's probably what it is. So that's how I fixed this one. Hi again. I'm just going to show you now how I'm going to modify the quadcopter itself. A couple of things I'm doing. I'm replacing the bearings, and I'm going to, I've already fitted the heat sinks to the motors, and I'll show you that in a second. But as you can see here, there's a washer on top of the bearing where your gear wheel sits. Now this washer was already on there when I took the gear and the propeller shaft off. As you can see, there's a propeller and the shaft there. I took the gear off and just pulled it out that way, but just make sure you put that washer back in because it came that way, so that's why I'm going to put it back, and the gear will just sit on top of the washer like so. As far as getting the bearings out, I'll just get that washer out for a second, out of the way. It's just a matter of gently putting your screwdriver in there or something and just gently levering the bearing out, and it's as easy as that. And I've got the bearings, the new bearings ready to go in, so just thought I'd show you that. It doesn't fall out of the place. And I'll just turn it over and show you what I'm doing with the heat sinks. There. Just rest that there, if you can see that okay. I'll just move the camera over a bit. Now, what I found with these, the heat sinks I got from I think it was RC777.com, I think it was. I'm not quite sure. I had it written down here somewhere, but I've lost that. Never mind anyway. With the motors that came with the 666, it has the a negative solder dob of solder on both sides of the motor. Okay, so when you fit the heatsink, you can't fit the heatsink compound because there's a slight gap. If you can see that, there's a slight gap in between the motor and the heatsink itself, so you can't fit the you can't put the paste on. Also, I've modified the motor covers. If I can just get that up there on the ground, if you can see that, everything's falling over. You have to cut a recess out of the motor cover so that it clears the heatsink when you're putting the heatsink on. And also, before you put the heatsink on, you need to break off the fin just there, otherwise the motor cover won't fit right on. And this fin here, you have to bend it slightly in a little bit so that it clears the side of the motor mount just there. So I've done the whole 4 of them. Now the funny thing is, pardon me, when I ordered the spare motors, you'll see, if I turn it around the other way, that this one only has one blob of solder for the negative pin soldered to the body of the motor, and the other side does not have a blob of solder. So if you wanted to, if you were replacing a motor, you could put the heatsink on and it would fit flush up against this section of the motor, because it's there's no solder blob there. So that's why I've done that. Now the camera, this is the camera here. I bought these lenses off eBay, and they actually fit on mobile phone. Where's a wide angle, and this one's the wide angle. It's I think it's 120 degrees. I'm not sure, 110 or 120. So this one just sits over the lens, only just sits on by about 1 millimetre. So I'm going to try that lens first. As I said, it's just sitting over the original lens. And this morning the 808 number 16 lens arrived in the mail, and this is the one where you've got to undo the camera and fit the lens inside. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll just move the camera over a bit. That's the lens there. It's called the 808 number 16. There. So, as I said, I'm going to try the other one first, see how it goes, and if it's no good, well, I'll just put the new one in. Welcome back again. This is the balancer that I bought from Banggood, thinking that I'll be able to just balance the propellers like most of the other models, but I found out the hard way. The propeller diameter in the centre there doesn't fit over the. Whoops! Hang on a second. It doesn't fit over the shaft of the balancer. So, but anyway, it'll come in handy for other things, I suppose, later on if I get any other models with propellers that will fit over the shaft. And one thing, even if you had another model and you wanted to balance the shafts, I'd suggest that first of all you balance the actual cones, because they're out of balance themselves. So you can probably see I've got a black mark on the cone just there, and if I just turn the shaft a little, whoop, done it again. Well, you can see it turning now and it's come back there, so I'll just use my finger and I'll just touch it a slight bit. And as you can see, it's heavy on the bottom there, so that's something that you might want to look at. And there's the other spare cone there, and that one does the same thing. So the cones are out of balance to start with. So what I'm going to do is to balance the shafts and propeller, the shaft and the propeller and the gear, I'm going to try and balance it all in one. I'll just swing the camera around and I'll just show you what setup I've got here. It's a little bit primitive and it might not work, but anyway, I'm going to give it a try, so I'll just turn the camera off and come back and show you. Okay, this is the way I'm going to have a go at balancing the gear, the shaft and the prop as one unit. Just here I've got a pair of what we call tweezers. They're medical tweezers, you use them for picking things out of your skin and what have you. Anyhow, I've got that nice and level along here, and these edges here are fairly sharp, so that'll help. And what I'm going to do is just, I know this one's out because I've put a dot on the heavy side, so when I sit it on here, just got to make sure the gear and the prop's not fouling. As you can see, it turns fairly well, and the dot is going to the bottom, which is the heavy side of the propeller, so it's worth a try. And if it works, it's got to be a good thing. And just before I go, I just want to thank all you people on the forum. I'm only a new guy myself, so I'm learning, but I've got a little bit of hobby experience and a little bit of electronic knowledge and how to use a soldering iron and a bit of mechanical knowledge. These guys, there's a lot of guys on there who've input a lot of information on the forum, but I just want to thank Sebi and Moose Jet, Hammerhead, Tracy, York's Astro, Andy Clayton and Bob, and all your other guys. You do a fantastic job, and I hope this video is not that professional, but if it helps somebody, well and good. So catch you on the forum. Bye.